In this video, we're going to explore how to test user interactions in React applications, specifically focusing on button clicks and form inputs. Testing these interactions is crucial to ensure that our components respond correctly to user actions and that our application behaves as expected. Let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering. First, we'll delve into button testing, where we'll simulate user clicks and interactions with buttons within our React components. This will help us verify that our buttons trigger the correct actions and update the user interface accordingly. Next, we'll move on to form testing, where we'll focus on validating form inputs, submissions, and how our application handles user data. This will ensure that our forms are functioning correctly and that user data is being processed as expected. Before we dive into writing tests, let's set up our testing environment with the necessary tools. We'll be using React testing library, Jest Dom, and user event. To install these dependencies, run the following commands in your project's terminal. npm install at testing library/react. npm install at testing library/Jest Dom. npm install at testing library/user event. These packages provide us with the utilities we need to render components, simulate user interactions, and make assertions about the rendered output. Let's start with a basic example of testing button clicks. First, we import the render and screen functions from React testing library, as well as user event. Then we define a test case using the test function, giving it a descriptive name such as button click changes text. Inside the test case, we first render our myButton component. Next, we use the screen.getByRole function to find the button element. Then we simulate a user click on the button using await user event.click, passing in the button element. Finally, we assert that the text clicked is now present in the document using expect screen.getByText clicked to be in the document. Now let's move on to testing form inputs. We start by importing the render and screen functions from React testing library, along with user event. Inside the test case, we render our login form component. Then we use the screen.getByLabelText function to find the input element with the label username. Next, we simulate a user typing into the input field using await user event.type, passing in the input element and the value John_Doe. Finally, we assert that the input element now has the value John_Doe, using expect input to have value John_Doe. Let's explore how to test form submissions. We begin by creating a mock submit function using jest.fn. Then we render the contact form component, passing in the mock submit function as the onSubmit prop. Next, we simulate a user typing an email address into the email input field using await user event.type, and then we simulate a click on the submit button using await user event.click. Finally, we assert that the mock submit function was called with the correct data, in this case, an object containing the email test at example.com. Let's discuss some best practices for writing effective tests. First, always prefer accessible queries such as getByRole, getByLabelText, and getByText over test IDs. This improves the accessibility of your tests and makes them more resilient to changes in the implementation details. Second, focus on testing user flows rather than isolated functions. Simulate real user interactions and test complete workflows to ensure that your application behaves as expected in real-world scenarios. Let's recap the key takeaways from this video. User event simulates real user interactions, allowing us to accurately test how our components respond to user actions. Accessible queries improve test quality by making our tests more accessible and resilient. Mock functions verify behavior, enabling us to ensure that our functions are called with the correct arguments and that our components are behaving as expected. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.